Good morning, and welcome to Unity of Wilmington. Let our celebration singers bring you into the place. Thank you.
I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here.
Yes, indeed. We are all indeed welcome here. Unity of Wilmington. Welcome here in person and welcome to you out in Cyberland. It's a lovely day here, a bit frosty, but a beautiful day in the neighborhood. So this is Unity of Wilmington, and I'd like to introduce who is going to be playing the game with us today. We have Katie Deese, our music director. We have Samantha Mishad, who will be our singer. She's been missing for a while, and now she's back. Yay. We have Herbert Harris, who will be giving us our lesson. Thank you to the Unity Singers for welcoming us in, and thank you for Chris for making us live and loud. So I would like to welcome anyone here for the first time. Yay, welcome, welcome, welcome. I would also like to welcome anybody who's here for the second or third time. Yay, even better, terrific. And most certainly to everyone who is here because that's where it's supposed to be. The third, fourth, fifth, thousandth, whatever time we are here. I would invite you to join me in our underlying principle. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotent. And our affirmations, which guide us through our day. I am a beloved expression of God. I am here for a holy purpose. I am in the right place at the right time, right now. And now our prayer minister, Lisa Keating, will read the daily word.
Thank you, Lainey. I did. Today's daily word for January 15th, 2023 is about world peace. I rest my heart in the peace of God. Around the world,
So many souls are joining me in my prayer for peace. While the news may give more attention to points of conflict, there is a striving and yearning in the human heart for peace. My prayer supports that desire and strengthens the bonds of love that lead to greater harmony. I begin my affirmation of world peace with a soft and open heart. I am comforted as I realize the advances the world's peoples have made over the generations to live together harmoniously. I make an effort to live a more peaceful life and bridge the gaps of understanding between myself and those around me. I focus my attention upon our shared desire, a peaceful world of cooperation and goodwill. This is my heartfelt prayer. And from Isaiah 26:3, those of steadfast mind you keep in peace because they trust in you.
Thank you very much. And peace, as everything else, starts within us. And now, Samantha will share a song with us.
I'm broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round. But you can't find the fighter. I see it in you, so we're gonna work it out and move mountains. Yeah, we'll work it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, high like the waves, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache, I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. When the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll bring the world to its feet and move mountains. We'll bring it to its feet and move mountains. And you'll rise up, you'll rise like the day, you'll rise up in spite of the ache, you'll rise up and you'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other, yeah. And we will rise, we will rise, we will rise up, we'll rise up, high like the waves, we'll rise up In spite of the ache, we will rise 1,000 times again. And we'll rise up high like the day. We'll rise up in spite of the ache. We'll rise up and we'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, for you, for you, for you.
Wow. Wow. Samantha. I wondered, woo, woo, woo. I was trying to hit that note. I know it's up in there somewhere. Well, didn't that bring chills to you? I mean, just, wow. Wow. What a great room. I looked up and the room was full. Give yourselves a hand. Wow. Now let's do our meditation to put us in the proper space and proper place to receive the message and go forth. Sit straight up in your seats. Put your feet flat on the floor. Put your arms and hands palm down on your knees. Just take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. Take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it out slowly. And in this space of peace and relaxation, we see ourselves in the forest. We see the trees, we see the flowers, we see the people. We see good people. We see people who are challenged. We see flowers that are beautiful. We see other flowers. And as we dwell in this forest, we know that there's something more. And let's just see yourselves leaving that forest and walking up the hill towards a mountain in the distance. And as we move up that hill and we look back, and now the forest is just a canopy of trees. We go higher and higher. And as we move up this mountain, the sun is just cascading down from the heavens above, warming us. You can feel that warmth upon our face. Feel that warmth envelop our bodies. We continue to move up that mountain. And we're so high now, we see the clouds. And as we walk through the clouds, we feel the moisture of God's breath touching us, uplifting us, healing us. And in that moment of peace and clarity and healing. We see that point far beyond. We see other mountains far beyond. But we know, we feel, we understand. We are one. We are whole. We are healed. And so it is. Let us affirm together. And so it is. Give yourselves a hand. I think I got stuck up on the mountain there. Could you feel it? You know, I was on Pikes Peak in Colorado, and you know, everybody else got sick. You know, when people go up that train, I'm amazed. I felt just empowered. And you know, on a clear day, you can see 100 miles or more. And it's amazing. Nothing else seems to matter, that calmness of being on that mountain. And I think it's important for us to stay on the mountain of our consciousness, that whenever that world, the forest, the things that go on around us, find a way to climb up to that mountain. Can you do that? Yes. Wow, today is, today is just such an interesting day. I'd like to acknowledge the Samantha and Katie. I mean, I'm glad I got to hear the practice, okay? But then when I heard the real thing, let's just give them another hand, because that was special. You know, music has a way of healing, and that was healing. Also, thank the staff and everybody involved. We just have a great church family here. Jim, welcome back. Yes, my favorite singer. Thank you. We just have a great staff here and everybody working together. And who's our prayer partner for today? Katie. Okay. Lisa, apologize. Lisa, who's been threatening to teach me music. I chose this topic today, what is your vision? And one of the reasons is, if you've been watching television, there's so much going on. This is the Martin Luther King Day weekend. And I want to acknowledge that because, believe it or not, I was old enough to be there in 1963. I was a young college student, but I was there when Dr. King shared the I Have a Dream speech. And you know, at that moment, you knew it was special. When you see, the amazing thing was, you know, they've talked about the numbers, but I know there were at least 500,000 people, because I've been there. I was at the March on Washington, and I remember the people stretched from one monument to the other. And the amazing thing was you could hear him just as clear. I don't know what kind of sound system they had. You know how when you're outside you hear the echo? It seemed like he was speaking directly to me. And so I give thanks for having been there, because I can see that we have come a long way. When I grew up in Wilmington, it was a very, very different town. And so for those who think that we've not made progress, we have absolutely made progress. We've changed the world. But I'm also wise enough to know that we have a lot more to do. And so years ago, I was asked to write a tribute to Dr. King, and It's been recorded, and I want to just read it today just to commemorate this. And it's called A Warrior Has Fallen. A warrior has fallen. Let us honor him. Let us be still inside and remember his triumphs and his failures. He fought the dragons of his time against overwhelming odds, proudly standing in the face of racial discrimination and social injustice with honesty as his shield, with character and determination as his mighty sword. A warrior has fallen, let us honor him. He has waged the ultimate battle and won, overcoming the final obstacle of this fleeting existence to receive the ultimate reward, eternal and everlasting life, in the hearts and minds and spirits of all whose lives were touched by him, who received the benefits of his counsel and of his works. A warrior has fallen. Let us honor him with the gift of everlasting life in our hearts, in our minds, and in our spirits. And so it is. Whew. You know, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And as we go through this life, there are so many things that take place that may or may not be pleasing. But one of the key points is to always have a vision of what it can be, of how to make it better, of how to change, how to be more loving. So our topic for today is, what is your vision? Simon Sinek said, greatness starts with a clear vision of the future. Greatness starts with a clear vision of the future. And I picked this topic also because we're at a point this year. You know, I love the first part of the year. I love January because everybody's so hopeful and making resolutions and all those kind of things. But I love this point because if we can begin this year in a certain mindset, if we can begin this year understanding that we grow and we go, and we grow as we go, that we have the ability to create a new world exactly the way we want it. I mean, that's the whole point of a resolution. You know, I see myself tall and handsome. Yeah, that's pretty good. I always wanted to be 6'3". I don't know why. And every now and then, you know, when you go to the doctor's office and they ask you how tall you are, and I'll say 6'3", and they write it down. And I even confuse people when they're coming through a door. I like lower my head, like I'm gonna. But you know, as we prepare this year, we can do anything we want to do. We can be anything we want to be if we have vision. There are three areas I want to look at. Number one, what is vision? Number two, why is it important? And number three, how to develop your vision. So that when you leave here today, you're going to be visionaries, visionpreneurs. You're going to be ready to go out and transform the world based on the vision you see of yourself and what you want to be, do, and have. So what is a vision? The dictionary, the Oxford Dictionary, says vision is a faculty or state of being able to see. It goes on to say, a vision is your ability to think about and plan for the future with imagination and wisdom. So when we look at where we are right now, we're at a point where we can plan for the future with imagination and vision. We're, in fact, on a journey. You know, I love the GPS. I don't know, I do know. Being around Dave, being around in 1963, and I was able to drive then. We didn't have GPS. We had maps. Anybody remember maps? And you had to read the map. And we actually taught our kids how to read a map. Now, for goodness, if the power goes down and there are no GPSs, our kids are lost. I mean, there are people who won't be able to get home. You know, amazing. You ask a young person what's their phone number and they don't know it. I was in the grocery store. A lady lost her phone, so I was trying to be helpful. I said, well, what's your number? I'll call you and you can hear it ring. She said, I don't know my number. So the GPS requires two things, though. It requires a destination. The destination is what we want our life to be next year this time. Next year when we have this service, we're going to be talking about how sweet it is, how everybody, you know what? As a matter of fact, we're just going to have all of you all come here, and that means you got to be here next year, okay? And come here and tell how sweet this year was. All the good things that happened, the health, man, I lost weight, I got the job, everything you wanted happened. So the GPS requires a destination, but it also requires a location. And so a destination without a location is almost like the difference between a dream and a pipe dream. And so the idea is that we must consider where we want to go this year, but we must also acknowledge where we are. What's our starting point? And this is why it's so important to really put the time in right now. So your vision is the representation of your own, in your own mind, of the life you would like to experience. So just for a moment, just think about this. What do you want your life to look like a year from now? What do you want it to feel like? Who do you want to be around you? What do you want to be doing? Where do you want to be, you know? Maybe you want to be, let's see, it's winter. I was in Egypt. You know, in the southern hemisphere, this is the summer. So it was burning up down there. I'm like, okay, I remember that. I didn't realize that until I got there. I had all the wrong clothes. But so that vision is the representation in your mind of what you want to be, do, and have. The question is, why is your vision important? In Scripture, you know, I use the Bible as a spiritual reference point. Proverbs 29:18 makes it very, very clear. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there's no vision, what do? Perish. But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So it's just saying that if you don't have a vision and all the things that visions can bring, you not necessarily perish, but you fail. When we really look at the translation of perish from like the original Aramaic, perish has a sense of not achieving your purpose. And so if you have no vision, then you will not achieve your purpose. In fact, we have a vision because we have a purpose. Think about this. The Creator put us here for a purpose. I mean, think about it. God doesn't just sit there and say, man, let me make some junk. Let me make something that's unnecessary. Everything that is in existence, the fact that we're here, means we are created for a purpose, and the vision is the pipeline to that purpose. You know, when we were doing the meditation, I went that forest. You know, when you try to always only speak of positive things, then what about, say, well, how do you talk of weeds? You know, but that's a part of the universe. Think about this. You never have to plant weeds. So there's a natural yin and yang about everything. There was a movie with George Burns. And I just dated myself. I know all the young people go, well, who does he play for? But George Burns was a very famous movie and television star, and it was a movie called Oh God. And you remember that movie? Yeah. And the kid asked him, he said, well, if you're God, why do you create sickness? And why do you create death? And why do you create bad things? And George Burns says, you know, it's a great question. He said, I never could figure out how to create an up without a down. I never could figure out how to create light without darkness. And so stuff happens. I mean, that's the essence of life. But having a vision is what guides you through it. Alice in Wonderland, there was a great statement, and it said, if you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. So if you have no vision of the life you want to live, the world mind will take you there. The interesting thing, we live on the river of time, so even if you don't make a choice, you've made a choice. You know, we're sitting there in the river of time in our boat. We turn off the engine. We tie down the rudder. We pull the sails down. We tell the crew to sit there and do nothing. Guess what? That boat's going somewhere. But it's going to go in somewhere that you may not want to go. It's going to go wherever the river takes you. And so this idea, when we don't have a vision, that means that other things, the environment, other people can take us on their vision. You know, a lot of times, and, you know, I won't ask for a show of hands, but I know that all of us at some point we have lived our lives in accordance with somebody else's vision, under somebody else's, you know, control. And the interesting thing is we do it by choice. I mean, we choose, sometimes we say, I just don't want to be lonely. But sometimes being lonely is better than being with whomever. And so this thought of living under other people's jurisdiction, space is critical. But when you have no vision, that's what happens. You know, it always concerns me when the young people, when you say, well, what are you doing? Chilling. Samantha, you're a young person. See, now when she says chilling, she means I'm practicing. Right? Yeah. But chilling. So if you're not doing anything, you're moving according to the world mind. And so that's why kids end up in jail with all the negative stuff. That's why we end up in bad relationships, because we let ourselves live under somebody else's influence. You know, a friend of mine, we wrote a song many years ago when we were struggling. And it must have been, the title of the song was, World, Please Help Me. and one of the key phrases that it says, let me try to sing it. It said, world, please help me to find myself, because I woke up this morning to find that I've been living the life of somebody else other than me. When you live a life based on lack of vision, you perish. You don't go where you're supposed to be. Now, you have to have your own vision. There's a story of a couple. The husband and the wife are there, and the husband says to the wife, he says, you know, last night you were smiling, and you seemed so happy while you were sleeping. She says, what were you dreaming? She said, oh, I was dreaming beautiful dreams. I dreamed I had a red Mercedes convertible. I dreamed I was driving along. My hair was blowing in the wind. So he said, wow, that's beautiful. So the next night, look, she's smiling. So he says, well, what are you dreaming this time? Well, I was dreaming about having a beautiful house by the ocean, just hearing the waves crashing upon the ocean. He goes, wow, that's nice. He said, well, why don't I see you in my dreams? Why don't I see myself in your dreams? She said, because you got to have your own dreams. So your dream is personal. You have to have, nobody else can have a dream for you. When you develop your dream, two aspects of that dream, that vision, specificity and imagination. When you have a dream of what you want to be, do, and have, you have to be specific. You can't just say, I want to be happy. At the end of this year, I want to be happy. Well, what does that mean? Specificity. Some people, it may mean I got enough money. Other people may mean I'm in a really great relationship. I'm in a relationship with somebody who's excited to see me. You know? Others may mean I'm at peace with my environment, or all the chaos in my life has been removed. But whatever it is, your vision must be specific. We talked about it before we did the piece on setting goals. So whatever you want to create this year, create it with specificity. The second part, it must embody your imagination. And the beauty of imagination is it goes beyond what is. It's not enough to just see ourselves the way we are, but to see ourselves with the potential. And that's why the purpose is so important. God created us for a divine purpose. And so when we can see that purpose, that helps us identify what we are really about and what we're supposed to be doing. So when we can vision ourselves not just as we are, but as we can be. Can you imagine seeing yourself, whatever your shortcomings are, they're gone now, and see yourself flying, see yourself doing things that you never thought you could do? Can you all see that? It's okay to say yes. Can you see that? Yes. So now, understanding that the reason we have a vision is the vision gives us access to our purpose. If we have no vision, we will never find our purpose. We'll just go through life like thistles in the wind, blowing hither, thither, and yon. So, the dream is critical to discover our purpose. So what are the steps? Let's do the work. The 7 steps to help you develop your vision. Number 1, you got to want it badly. If you don't want to change, when you're living under somebody else's space, you can make every excuse you want, but until you decide to draw a line and say no more, it will continue. And so you've got to want it badly. And there's a spiritual principle behind this. Seek and you shall find. Knock and it shall be opened. Ask and you will receive. The only thing the principle doesn't say is how long. So you have to do it until you get it. So you have to want it badly. Number 2, you have to set aside time to pursue your vision. And that's why I love to do this talk at the beginning of the year, because if you don't define yourself and create your vision now, then you've turned off your GPS and gunned it. You're just going down the road. Set aside the time, and I really want us to take this seriously. Set aside that time to meditate. Sometimes folks say, well, I don't know how to meditate. Well, just be quiet. Okay, just be quiet and think about yourself. Okay, that'll get you started. When you set aside that time to pursue your vision, you're like priming the pump. You're really saying that I'm going to find what I'm looking for. Abraham Lincoln said, if I had an hour to chop down a tree, I would spend the first 45 minutes sharpening my axe. And so this process of setting aside the time to pursue your vision is you're sharpening your axe. You're sharpening your spiritual axe, being tuned in. You're sharpening your emotional axe, be able to get over some of the shortcomings. You're sharpening your relational axe, be able to interact with people better. Step 3, be honest with yourself. Because it's your personal dream, if you're not honest with yourself, you'll never find who you are. When we let other people define us, you can't do this, you're not that, it's really amazing. The first 3 words a child learns: no, stop, and don't. And then shut up. A lot of people get hung up there and never get beyond that. So be honest with yourself, recognizing that the vision is a manifestation of your purpose. But if you're not honest with yourself, you can't deal honestly to figure out what it is. If you're seeking your vision and you're not honest with yourself, you will never get there. Number 4, ask the right questions. Now, those of you listening and those of you here, this is a different kind of lesson. This is a workshop type lesson, And I wanted to do it intentionally because it's just that important. we say ask the right questions. And these are some questions that can change your life. Number one, who am I? If you're not clear on who you are, if you're still trying to be something somebody else wants you to be, you'll never find your vision. Number two, what do you want? How many times we pursue things that we don't even want, and why are you doing that? Because everybody else is doing it. What's important to you? Write down what is important to me, and think about that. What do you want more of? Question 4. What do you want more of? I want more love, more peace. When you get home today, write, what do I want more of? The other side of that coin is, what do I want less of? You may want to start there, because sometimes it's easy to determine what you don't want to help find what you do want. 5th question, what are my values? Am I truthful? Are there things I will or will not do? You know, we have to draw a line. People deal with us based on how we permit them to deal with us. Number 6, what are my talents? One of the interesting things about life is that if you take your eye off the prize, it's easy to forget your true value. And so what are my values? What's important to me? What do I want my life to have stood for? And then finally, what is my legacy? You know, we don't think about legacy a lot, but you know, people are watching us, we don't even know they're watching us. Have you ever had somebody come up and say, man, I thank you, you really helped me? I said, I did? What did I do? Well, I just saw how you do your things. I saw how you conduct your affairs. So those 7 questions, and you may want to watch this again, can help you get to that core, get you where you want to be. So now, we did, that was step 4. Step 5 is to create a vision of your best life, and that's why meditation is so important. Create a vision of your best life exactly the way you want it to be, incorporating all the things you want to have, seeing yourself with all the possibilities that you desire. Some people want it so badly that they'll sacrifice everything. Every time I see a Tyler Perry movie, I remember him saying how he slept in his car. But that's how badly he wanted it. Even Hugh Hefner, I wasn't a big fan of Playboy, but he wanted a magazine. I was looking for something a little more intellectual. But when he started his magazine, he didn't even have a place to live. He wanted it so bad he lived in the office. So create that vision of what you want and go for it. The 6th step is an interesting one. Work backwards. You know, there's a scripture, I think in Romans, the 4th chapter, the 17th verse, and it says, he calleth those things which are not as though they were. God speaks the end result. And so when you work backwards, that means you see yourself already there. That means you see yourself experiencing the life you desire. That means you see yourself already in the picture. And then you work back. Well, if I'm going to get my degree, I got to do this. I got to do this and work it all the way back. And then finally, the 7th key is to keep going and growing. To realize that it's not an overnight thing. You don't get rich overnight, but you don't even go broke overnight. That it's an evolutionary process, and as long as you keep going and growing, you're on the way. That your vision is revealed to you in accordance with your level of consciousness. The vision is already there, always there, because the vision is identified with our purpose, but our spiritual growth is what helps us get to the point where we can see what God intended, what was already there. And so when you can do these things, when you keep going and growing, truly the best is yet to come. So let me summarize. Did I keep you working today? Was this a work? Yeah, okay. Number one, your vision is what you see for yourself, the life you would like to experience. Your vision is important because without your vision, you cannot access your purpose. You develop your vision by wanting it badly enough, by setting aside time to get it, by being honest with yourself, to ask those probing questions, those 7 questions, by focusing on your best life, by working backwards from the end result, and then finally by realizing that you keep going and growing. There's always another mountain. One of the great teachers said, when you get to the top of the mountain, what do you see? Another mountain. When you get to the top of that one, what do you see? Another mountain. So let us stand and let's close out together. Let's stand. Mm-hmm. All right. You can repeat after me. I have a vision of my perfect self.
I have a vision of my perfect self.
I see myself healthy.
I see myself healthy.
I am healthy.
I am healthy.
I see myself happy.
I see myself happy.
I am happy.
I am happy.
I see myself loved.
I see myself loved.
I am loved.
I am loved.
I see myself loving.
I see myself loving.
I am loving.
I am loving.
And finally, I see myself whole and complete.
I see myself whole and complete.
I am whole and complete.
I am whole and complete.
Always knowing that the best is yet to come.
Is yet to come.
Give yourselves a hand, and so it is. Thank you. You may be seated. Wow. Lanny, did you see this crowd here? Man, I just love it. All right, it is time to take up our collection. What a beautiful. You know, every day when we come here, it's always a revelation, and you all make it so beautiful for us. There's nothing like just people who are feeling and getting it and seeing it. All right, so the ushers will take up our collection, and let's see, we have there we go. We can say this is our affirmation of giving together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Come ahead on.
Told me when I was young, we were all born superstars. She rolled my hair and put my lipstick on in the glass of her boudoir. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, she said, 'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't hold yourself in regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way, yeah. Ooh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way. Give yourself prudence and love your friends. Go ahead and rejoice your truth. In the religion of the insecure, go respect your youth. There's nothing wrong with loving who you are, because love you heaven can attend. Just hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. And listen to me when I say I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't hold yourself in regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way, yeah. Ooh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. Baby, I was born this way. Ooh, there ain't no other way. Baby, I was born this way. Right track, baby, I was born this way, yeah.
Wow. Phew. Samantha, Katie, oh my gosh. Thank you. Come right on up. Oh, thank you. Teresa, you do such a good job. Teresa keeps us rolling around here. Oh. All right. Let's just be still inside and remember, we bless this offering, God's offering. We give thanks for your generosity, knowing that all that you give and all that you receive creates a never-ending cycle of increase and enjoyment. And so it is. Thank you. Woo! Lanny?
Day. Absolutely amazing. Well, it's time for the announcements, as it inevitably has to come to an end. First of all, Lisa Keating is our prayer partner, and she will meet you over here by the prayer box. If you wish to put in a request for prayers for yourself or others, in Thanksgiving, in whatever, please join us. Kirtan Meditation starts again our monthly program starts again this afternoon at 12:30. She will be here. Join us for some chanting and drumming and making music. So please be here for that. Also this week on Wednesday at 7 o'clock is our first Wednesday evening prayer meditation group, which will be led by by Ellen. That wasn't there. Okay, Ellen will be here guiding us through our prayer meditation on Wednesday at 7 o'clock. We invite you to join us. On a memorial note, Myron McNeil's mother passed away about a week or so ago, and her memorial service will be this coming Saturday here at 11 o'clock. So we invite you to join us and celebrate Elsie McNeil's life. She was a congregant and a member for a good number of years. Used to sit over on this side. Anyway, we remember Elsie very fondly. The last thing I'd like to talk about is our hospitality endeavors. In a good home, hospitality is very important, and this is our spiritual home. So we are indeed hospitable. However, there's a however. It requires people effort in two ways. It requires that people contribute, sort of in a potluck fashion. We have divided up people's last names into 4 ways. So if your name is, I got it right here, A through E, your last name, we invite you to share some goodies with us, or paper cups, paper plates, what have you, this month. The other piece of that is that who makes the coffee? And this comes with volunteers specifically designated each Sunday that there be a hospitality team. Usually it's 2 people on a Sunday, somebody coming in a little early to make the coffee, set out the cream and the sugar and the cups and what have you, and put the stuff on the table. And then the second person to put the dirty cups in the dishwasher, turn it on, sweep the room, turn out the trash. So we are looking particularly for people to do those things. Those are designated volunteer activities. And essentially, you're signing on for about a year. The first Sunday of the month, the second, third, fourth, fifth, whichever you would like, to come in a little early, stay a little later, while the rest of us bring in the goodies to share. You can bring in goodies or not as you so choose as your name comes up. The person at this point who is heading the volunteer team is Gail O'Brien. She's in the back with her happy little clipboard. Looking for people, particularly towards the end of the month, the third and the fourth and the fifth Sundays when they occur. So having said that, we will convene here afterwards in the fellowship hall for some hospitality. And please consider that it's our hospitable home offering to each other. It's the basis of how we share. You come to my house, you get offered a cup of tea. You may have to bring your own cupcakes. But anyway, you get the tea. So I would like to invite you to join us in our closing prayer and in singing our song. The light of God surrounds us. I am the love of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as Creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
I would like to invite each and every one of you back next Sunday. What a great